All right, people, let's make empanada dough. So I cleared off this section of my counter so I can have space. And so what you're gonna need is some all-purpose flour. This is about 2.5 cups, give or take. You can sift it if you want. You can do whatever you want. Well, don't do whatever you want because we're making empanada dough. Okay, so next, we're gonna season this dough a little bit with some garlic powder, onion powder. I'm going to put in some salt and pepper. I'm starting with the pepper. My salt. And the Anatto that I've mentioned many times before. It gives it a nice color. Sometimes when you have empanadas, they're very lightly colored. That's because they don't have Anatto. If they are a bit on the orange side, they have Anatto. So I'm gonna put a couple of sprinkles to give it some color. Now in terms of how much each, again, because people have different tastes, I usually don't say specifically how much salt, how much pepper, how much of anything else, but a good starting point would be half a teaspoon of each. Okay? Alright, so now mixed it well. I'm gonna put in 1 egg and I'm gonna use some butter. So let me get to that part right now. So here's my butter, and this is about a little more than a tablespoonful. And I should have did this in advance, but you want to leave it out so that it softens up. So no biggie. I'm gonna leave this out. I'm gonna go make a phone call, maybe a good 6-7 minutes, 5 minutes at least. Okay, and then we'll come back to it and get an egg ready. All right, let's continue on with our empanada dough. So the butter's nice and softened. I left it out for a bit. Break it up and just maybe drop pieces of it in different corners of the dough. I mean, it's not necessary, but whatever. Okay, now we're gonna take an egg. And I'm actually gonna do this process twice because this will make about 8 to 10 empanada pieces or circles or discs. All right. Ooh, that was violent. I'm gonna take an egg, and for some reason I opened it strangely, which is unique. Scramble it a little bit. For some people, there's the person that cracked the egg right in, but I like to get it nice and scrambled before I put it in. Oh, and we're gonna need some water. Where's my water? I had a big thing of water here and I can't, what? Am I bugging? Well, all right, we're gonna take a gallon of spring water. Just keep it on the side here. And the dough seasoned, the butter's in there. Just get the egg in there. And I'm gonna do this twice because I'm gonna need some for the chicken ones. Remember, my last video, or the last time you saw me, I was making chicken and beef empanadas. All right, so now we're gonna put a bit of water. I'm gonna start with, this is gonna be about, not even a third of a cup of water. And we're just gonna mix up this dough. All right. You may have to get your hands in there if the butter doesn't melt properly. But you just wanna, work it the way you would any dough. There's no yeast involved here. And you're just gonna keep working it until the butter melts in. Okay, so it's gonna take you a couple of 2-3 minutes. I'm not gonna have you watch me here because that would be boring. I'm just gonna keep working this, and we'll come back in the video. All right. Okay, just want to show you because I did everything right. It only took me about a minute for this to kind of come together. But now I'm gonna go in with my hands. I'm gonna work this dough right in here in the bowl just to get everything further mixed and combined. And maybe you can't see it on camera, but look, that was a piece of butter. So I want to make sure that the butter melts into this mass. I don't want it to linger around in pieces. Okay. So now you'll see that looks a little moist. Still the water and the butter and the egg. All right, so I can move this bowl. Before I do that, I actually want to put a little flour down here and work this dough a little more. Not much, just a sprinkling. When you work dough like this, it activates gluten and stuff, even though it doesn't have yeast. All right, so I'm going to be working this dough for about a good 4 or 5 minutes. You don't have to watch me. I'll accelerate time. Okay, so I'm done kneading this dough. I took up all the extra flour I put here on the counter. It smells nice. It smells nice and buttery. So now, just going to mold it into like a nice ball. Start over. I'm finicky. And what I'm going to do is, you're going to need time. So we're going to put some plastic wrap and I'm gonna let it sit for 1 hour or close to 1 hour. It depends how hungry you are. And I have to do this twice because remember, this is gonna give me 8 to 10. And I'm gonna do some of beef and some made of chicken. All right, so I'm not gonna have you watch me do the other. I'll just accelerate time here and we'll get to the point. All right, so let's get to rolling out this dough. It's been an hour. So what we're gonna do is put a little flour across the surface here. We're gonna roll out the dough, but not in the financial sense. All right, so get my dough off the plastic. You want to flatten it out. You want to make sure that you get it nice and stretched out, because what's going to happen is when you cut the circles of dough, if they're too thick, it'll cook up weird. All right, I don't want you to watch me do this. I just want to give you an idea of what to do. All right, but this is really thick, so you just want to keep working it until you get it maybe as close as to a quarter of an inch as you can. And you're going to use a rolling pin or a very thick cylindrical object. It could be a glass, it could be something out of metal, doesn't matter. What you want to do is just roll with it. Roll with it. Okay? So you're going to keep, oh, let me get a little flour here on this side here so it doesn't stick. You want to get your rolling pin or whatever you're using to flatten this out to stretch the dough out so that you can make 1/4 inch, not even 1/4 inch, thinner than that, dough discs. All right, I'm going to work on this. As you do it, you want to flip it. You want to, work it nicely. See, this is too thick here in the middle, so I'm going to keep moving it, kneading it. I need you, baby. All right. Let me accelerate time. I'll show you what it should look like. All right, so this is about the thickness I want the dough. This is a good, nice amount of thickness. So now what I'm going to do is, you're going to use something, anything that's round, to cut out the discs. If you're making small little empanadas, you can actually use the rim of this cup or a cup. But what I'm going to use, I'm going to use the top of my blender, the cap, and fairly easy. I'm just going to go on in. Oh, forgot to take out the top part. This I can fix later. That's funny. Yeah, you're just going to use the top part of the blender cap or any other sort of kitchen implement that you have. And here we go. We have one disco. If the edge, one of the edges are messed up like that, is absolutely no problem. No problem at all, because when we close it with the filling, we can fix that. Okay? And you just keep going. You're going to keep going until you have a good amount of disco or discs, dough discs. Like I said, don't worry about it not being perfectly circular. Okay. It's another. Pretty nice. I'm gonna do the rest of this, and I'll come back when I'm done. Ooh. Okay, so I just want to show you. I got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got, like I said, 8 discs. It would have been 9 if not that one that I messed up. But what am I gonna do with this leftover dough? Easy. I'm gonna get back to it. I'm gonna re-knead it and roll it out. And that way I get a couple more disco from it. All I need is a little more flour. You take a little more flour. You can put a little more water if you need. And you'll just re-knead that bit. And you should be able to get a nice amount of disco left over. I may have to wet this. Okay? So I'm going to speed up time so that you can see how many more I get out of that. You see here, I re-rolled that bit of dough that was left, and I could probably get 2 or 3 more out of this. So let's see. I hope you do the same. Yeah, probably 3. The reason why I go twice with this is because of these grooves here. So I have to, go over it twice in order to make the perfect, well, we don't have to make perfect circles, but in order for it to appropriately cut through, so to speak. And again, that little messed up edge is no problem. I can actually re-knead this and probably get 2 more. But all right, I'm gonna do the other where is it? Other pile of dough. pile is the appropriate word, or the other amount of dough to roll them out and make dico, and then I'll show you how to fill them, and I'll show you a neat little trick on how to shape the closing of the dough. Okay. All right, so here are my discos. Got plenty of them. I'm just dusting them off a little bit so they don't stick to one another. And I'm gonna now start filling them with the chicken or beef filling. And a lot of people fry them, but what I like to do is oven bake them. So I'm just gonna show you how I fill each one. I'm thinking, deciding whether or not I'm gonna do beef and cheese or just plain beef and so forth and so on. There's a little of that left over. I'll make like a little mini one with this. Okay, so let me set up a little further here. Hold on. All right, so what you're gonna need is, again, the same surface, a little water, a fork, and a spoon. Now, I'm gonna flatten this dico out a little more. Just fine. And I'm just gonna scoop in some of the ground beef mixture into, it's gotten cold, but that's fine. It'll heat up nicely when we put it into the oven there. So I'm gonna put in a spoonful right in the middle there. I have to economize my space. And that's kind of a lot. That's a lot of beef, man. That's a lot. I'm going to flatten out the sides, wet my fingers, and just go around the brim, because that'll help it close. And what I'll do is, you can either fold it, or you can also bring up both edges together, squeeze shut. Okay, and now what you can do is, with your fork, you can just impress around the empanada. That does two things. It'll make the edge nice and crisp, and it'll keep this closed while you cook it. Okay, so there's my first raw, well, the meat is cooked, but the preliminary stage of an empanada. Let me do another so you can flatten it out a little more. Right? Get a spoonful of the meat mixture. Oop. Right there in the middle. That is not as much as the other. We get a little more. Let's be fair. Okay. And again, a little water around the edges. We'll flip them shut. Squeeze the edges shut. And with your fork, you're gonna go around and around the edges there. Nice. Okay, so let me do a chicken one, and what I like to do is I like to close it differently so that, I'm going to take these to work. I close them differently so that whoever's, looking at them can tell whether or not they're chicken or beef, and they can make the selection. This one may be a little bigger. When they make that selection, just visually looking at it, by the way I close it on the outside, they'll know if it's chicken or beef. So let me fill this one with chicken. Pardon me. I'm going to fill this one with the chicken mixture. I need another spoon or fork. Same thing. Spoonful of the chicken. Get in there. Put a little more. Okay, that's good. Now, what I'm going to do differently is, like I said, if I go around with that fork, it's going to look like the beef one. But I want to make it physically distinct so that when whoever looks at it, they'll, let them know, oh, these, one has chicken, one has beef. And what will help is the manner in which it's closed. So I hope you get a good look at this. I'm going to try to reposition the camera so that you can see what I'm about to do. Hold on. So what I'm going to do here, right, instead of running the fork through, I'm going to take the edge, pinch it, and fold it up. And I'm going to keep taking that same edge, pinch it, and fold it inward. See, it makes like a nice little ribbon type pattern. So that way, when these are in the, when I'm serving them, you'll know that this one has beef and this one has chicken. And you can, you can be creative with, let's do another one. This one's going to be a little smaller. Or I should just put these together. Let me get a different one. Now this one's even smaller than that one. Which is fine. These are natural and rustic and organic. They're not machine made, so there's gonna be some variation. Let's do another one. Okay, so you can see how I closed it up there. You ready? Spoonful of chicken. Get in there. You want to use nice chicken. With the edges. And again, whoops. If it gets slightly deformed, that's no problem, because you'll fix it when you close it up. Wow, this bad boy's gonna be. Ooh, it's small but packed. Okay, I'm pinching the edges shut, and I'm folding upward, then down. And going back to that same edge, upward. Well, it helps if it's flat. Upward and down, upward and down, upward and down, upward and down, upward and down. Ta-da! Smaller than the other one, but this I think may have more meat than the bigger one. All right, I'm going to do the rest and put them in the oven. Maybe I'll fry one to show you what it looks like fried. All right, so my empanadas are all completed. Here are the beef ones. The chicken ones, I made them a bit smaller just to make them distinct from the others. Now I want to show you, my oven is on at 350. Yeah, it's preheating. I'm going to bake them. I decided I'm going to bake them. I'm not going to fry any because that's just a whole other mess. So into my baking sheet, I'm going to put a little oil. This is coconut oil. I like coconut oil. I'm going to get it all around the bottom surface. A little on the sides. And I think I'm going to put my chicken ones into the smaller casserole dish thingy here. Here's my aluminum one, or metal one. And no matter how much I try to clean the flour off, it's fine. I got a little dusting there. Alright, and what I'm going to do is just, lay them on in there as nicely as I can. I'm going to try to maximize space. Some of them are shaped a little differently than others, which is fine. That's a lesson your mom should have taught you when you were a kid, right? And they may not all fit, but we can always, you know, do more than one baking. All right, that's some of the beef ones. Let me get some of the chicken ones in here. And they're also very drastically different in shape. And what you want to do, if you have any leftover meat, put it in the fridge. You can use it to make empanadas another day. You can use it to make fajitas. You can use it to make, you know, some sort of sloppy Joe sandwich type thing. All right, so I'm going to do more than one baking. Now, what I'm going to do is before I stick these in the oven, I am going to use a little more oil and just, did you see that? Just going to brush a little oil on top of each one. And I'm going to do the same for the beef ones as well. This actually has space for one more. I'm going to put that guy there. Here we go. Actually, if I rearrange them differently, I may be able to fit all of them, but all right, I'm gonna put them in the oven, and when I'm done with them, we'll come back and I'll show you the final result. But the main point of this video, because I've done this before, is to show you how I make the dough. And if you make your own dough, you'll save dough when you go to the stove. Let me tell you something. These came out crazy good. Crazy good. I'm gonna enjoy this with my salsa picante. And I just want you to see the inside of it. But a major point is that the dough is very good. I didn't want to put hot sauce on it. Excuse me, I'm talking with my mouth full. I don't have a cameraman, so I don't know if you can see that. Focus. But the main takeaway is that I made this dough myself, and it's crazy good. Try chicken one. Here's chicken. Look how full it is. It's bursting at the side there. And these are not going to brown like the beef ones because the beef has a lot of natural oil in it. And this, the chicken breast, of course, doesn't have a lot of fat. So let's give this one a try. Wait, let me cleanse my palate with a secret drink. I can't tell you what that is. Ask me later. There are children watching. Ooh. Mmm. Good. I prefer beef though, but whatever. So that's how you make your own empanada dough. And it's worth it. All right.